miss that
A
stuff.
podcast so good. It comes in thinking it's going to record Pinkerton, but it's always fucking Hurley. A podcast that is always trying to be the Suicide Squad, but is always Suicide Squad. A podcast that wants to be Phase 1 Marvel, but is whatever phase we're trudging through today.
4?
I don't know. It's also like 4 times as long as all the other phases, man. It's too many things. It's an oversaturation in the market. They're like, we're just going to beat Warner Brothers to it. Before they can put out another movie, we're going to get everyone sick of superheroes in the next, 2 weeks. Hi. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, I got that whole spiel.
Okay, cool. Ladies and future boys, welcome to the School for Wayward Nerds, the only podcast living in your walls, stealing your helium.
You can't prove it.
My name is Toby, and the first time... Oh, man, I'm just going to have a sip of my classy glass. The first time I read Batman Allergy, it was one of those comic book fan moments you love to have, okay? I was reading it at work, as you do, and I'd gotten to the part in which Kate Kane tells her father about the bat signal. She says, that bat they shine in the sky. Civilians think it's a call for help. The bad guys think it's a warning, but it's more than that. It's something higher. It's a call to arms. And I found my way to serve. It was a fascinating take on the bat symbol itself to me. It might have been my first time I'd thought of it that way. Obviously, you have, We Are Robins and a million other things like that. Gotham City Imposters. But this might have been the first one that done it. In a way, I was like, oh yeah, I can gel with this vibe, you know? And while I was marinating in that whole scene, I went to open this big shed thing because I work outside. And, I also work occasionally at night. What did you just spit out? What happened?
Nothing.
Okay.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So it's 2 a.m. The whole place is illuminated by those old orange streetlights they don't make anymore. And out in the distance, so it's all long shadows. I swing open this giant door. And what in reality was probably a half dozen tiny bats panicking and fleeing the building I was opening up. But my dumb brain, in its night shift mode, it was a very cinematic and awesome moment. That I just read that bit, and then I had the Batcave thing. I was like, yeah.
I am Batwoman.
That's right.
But a man.
Hear me roar. Yeah, I'm like a woman. I'm like a man Batwoman. I'm like a Batman. Oh no, copyright claimed. But
That's ladies and gentlemen, good night.
Yeah. But yeah, we're both doing amazing right now. But between that, the incredible art and story, it still makes it one of my comic book goats, which is a slang for greatest of all time.
I don't know what goat stands for.
I learned that because someone was recommending blowjob queens online. Throat goat, Kyle. They say that about Ronald Reagan's wife a lot.
Nancy?
Yeah. I don't know what the goat. We'll have to research that for another episode. So let's cut to the present. Nancy Reagan is presumed dead, and I'm still employed and was listening to some of our old podcast episodes, with some time removed. I was enjoying listening to the topics I hated doing at the time. Which got me thinking about topics I really just don't want to cover. Something on that list was the CW Batwoman. I'm not just being a brainless hater. The show does the hour long with commercials runtime, which I always struggle with, even if it's great. And it's CW Batwoman, so it can't possibly hit the heights I would want it to. So I never really tried it, never picked it up. Until now.
We made fun of it a few times.
That's right. Joining me for this week's debauchery is producer Kaya Kane.
I'm mostly here.
Kaya, what do you know of the Batwoman?
She is a woman that dresses like a bat.
Kind of dresses like Batman Beyond in different coloured boots.
Sure. And, a wig.
Yeah. Are you a fan of the character? Have you really spent any time with her at all?
A little bit, but not a lot.
I'm trying to think. She doesn't feature very much.
No.
Well, I mean, these days we're lucky to get a Batgirl, let alone the other Batgirl.
Exactly. I know that she's his cousin and stuff like that.
Whose cousin?
The basics of the character.
Whose?
Batman. Because she's Batwoman.
Someone pointed out, we were watching a comparison video, and someone pointed out that all the, like, main character girl equivalents, Batwoman and Supergirl, are just, like, the main guy's cousin.
Yeah.
Like, that's weirdly specific.
As someone that didn't have a cousin for a very long time, it was confusing.
Okay.
I was like, where did they come from? Also, how come Batman... Okay, I'm gonna let some secrets out here. Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bruce Wayne's parents die when he's a small child.
When he's a youngster, yes.
Let's say 9.
10. It varies, but I usually go with, like, the 10.
Okay. Normally, when your parents die, they would find another relative to give you to. Batwoman has parents.
Yeah, it implies that there was, like, alternatives to Alfred picking up the slack.
Why did no one be like, hey, we'll call Martha's sister?
We would have to look into this, but I'm gonna explain it all away and say Alfred's a godfather anyway? Maybe?
I'm fine with all of your answering. I'm just saying. Like...
It's an introduction that complicates lore a little bit, but in, like, a tedious way that you don't want them to spend time explaining, but you kind of want to know too.
I would understand if it was, like, a similar situation to, like, my family, where, like I said, I didn't have cousins for a very long time. And then, all of a sudden, I did have cousins. So maybe, like, the parents were busy gallivanting in their not needed time.
I turned off the wrong device in the launcher, it turns out. Okay. So, remember how the Arrowverse used to do annual crossover events?
After season 3?
You know, the 2018 one was Elseworlds. And its big draw was Batwoman. She rocked up in this crossover and would be getting her own series the following year. Great. It had a huge list of writers and directors, but the series was developed by Carolyn Dries, who worked on other CW shows like Smallville and Vampire Diaries, and she's also well known for the footage she captured during the 9/11 attacks.
Those are things to be known for.
Well,
because didn't Smallville end in a cult?
Yeah, one of them is in, like, a sex cult, maybe in prison.
I'm pretty sure she's in prison.
Yeah, isn't that fun? So yeah, when they announced who would play Kate Kane, they went with Australian MTV host Ruby Rose. They wanted an openly gay actress to play an openly gay character. Which is cool.
Is nice.
Yeah, I get that. Obviously, it was controversial. It's a tricky tightrope to walk, you know. For us complaining about the choice, it's a difficult tightrope walk. So some say they focused on the LGBT thing. And Ruby...
LGBTQIA+.
Yes, and Ruby Rose isn't Jewish. So there was a lack of representation on some fronts people would bitch about. Some said that she, or they, are gender fluid, so Ruby Rose isn't technically gay enough. I was like, Jesus.
I love that argument.
Oh my god. Personally, like, I don't give a shit what other people do or love or whatever, as long as there's, like, some consent involved.
And it's not mine.
Yeah. My problem's more that she isn't a freakishly pale woman with Coca-Cola can red hair and a strangely militant vibe while still looking pretty feminine and, you know. She's a complicated character. If you look at that J.H. Williams art, like, I don't know if you could cast a human for that. I've seen fan casts of Amanda Seyfried, which wasn't too bad, and she had a red bob in something, so that helps the argument a bit.
Yeah.
So we're in the ballpark, but honestly, I just know her as one of the guys from Mean Girls. So I was kind of surprised that someone pointed out the one who could tell if it's raining or not by her boobs. I'm like, that one? And then I saw pictures, I was like, oh yeah, time has happened since Mean Girls came out on, like, VHS, for fuck's sake.
There's a 90% chance it's already raining.
Yeah, she's, like, standing in the rain, yeah, that's the one. That person has been, like, a decent argument out of the pile. So that's the thing, I complain about, like, every fan cast. I'm always like, just get a new person, because none of the actors I can think of fit the bill. Yeah. It's one of the few where I was like, yeah, she's practically cosplaying Kate Kane in these pictures already. And she also probably wouldn't have been a pain in the ass on set and need to be replaced by the second season. Allegedly. one of the other cast members have come out and said that after the fact.
Allegedly.
Yeah, well. So who else was cast in this? All right, we got Luke Fox, played by Cameron Johnson. Luke is son of Lucius Fox, and not a weird made-up character for the show. He is in the books and goes on to be Batwing. Not the plane. The guy in kind of like the slightly more Iron Man-y batsuit.
Thank you for explaining.
Another character to become a Bat Family bonus character is Nicole Kang, who is playing Mary Hamilton. Which made me sound like, start talking like Pepe Sylvia trying to explain this to you. Because Mary Hamilton is Kate Kane's stepsister. Yep. Which pricked up my ears. She's a Hamilton here, but in most comics she is also a Kane. Mary Kane, and also usually goes by Betty Kane. Betty Kane was a Batgirl for a few years before Barbara Gordon solidified herself, and after that she went on to be a character named Flamebird, who comes from an old Kryptonian reference.
Nightwing!
Yep, Flamebird and Nightwing were like the Batman and Robin of the bottled city of Camdor, I believe.
I like that you can put a whole city in a bottle.
Well, Brainiac wants to preserve planets before he gets rid of them. So he's got like a little souvenir on his way out, like you do with pins at Disney.
No,
if you blew up Disney.
No, I can do even better than that. So, Disneyland got rid of A Bug's Land.
I remember.
In order to put in Marvel Campus.
Right.
The Pym particle shrunk down A Bug's Land, and they carry it around with them in a glass, like...
That's literally bottled city of Camdor is what you're explaining there.
Yep.
So we've wandered off task pretty hard here, but
as usual.
Betty Kane goes on to be the Flamebird that sidekicks to Batwoman, much like Nightwing sidekicks to Batman. So, there you go. My notes managed to summarize 60 years of Betty Kane in 72 words, ladies and gentlemen. But we extended it to talk about the bottled city of Camdor for a little.
Look, it's interesting.
Oh, I realised I've made a mistake. It wasn't, yeah, never mind. It's fine. I'm not good at, city names in Krypton.
It's a weird skill that not many of us have.
Right. We also have Sophie Moore playing, who is played by Megan Tandy. A character who is key in Kate Kane's development. And we've got Doug Ray Scott playing Colonel Jacob Kane.
He's
another key character because he is Kate's dad. You have some opinions about that guy? We might go more into them in the episode. Notes are, spoilers ahead, this part one is probably just going to be like the pilot and...
all of the creative changes they made.
Well, see, I went very intricate and over the top with the pilot episode.
Because, like, I'll do it when we get up to just about to talk about the pilot episode.
Okay. So the last major role in the cast is Rachel Scarston, who is playing Alice, who was played like a twist in the first episode. We spoke about this after the fact, so I don't know. People don't have a pre-existing Batwoman knowledge going into the show as much as I kind of would imagine. You'd quickly do a Wikipedia, maybe, I don't know. But not everyone read all of Alita between the trailer drops, so maybe I'm a bit overzealous with my things. You didn't know who Alice was?
No.
Alright, cool.
I mean, I know who Alice in Wonderland is.
Yeah, you know the villain, but like, that was it. You just needed, yeah. So with casting and stuff, we are ready to jump into the show proper now. I had 3 initial notes before starting the episode at all. Was that Allergy is one of my favourites. Make sure to mention that. I've ticked that box. I've already done it. Second was I hope the show is bad.
So that you have content.
Not even that. I would rather it suck than be boring. Some reaction is better than nothing.
I feel that.
I would rather... I'd rather, like, make wild accusations at my TV and, like, have an animated fun time than just kind of, you know? And third and final note was it helps to actually have the damn show. So upon realising I didn't own it already, before starting these notes, off I went to town to find a copy. That was the first real speed bump in my notes right there.
Well, for like a week you were like, I'm going to watch it.
I'm going to sit down and commit to this.
Somewhere. And it turned out nowhere.
No. I thought when we bought Stargirl and Swamp Thing and Superman and Lois, I just had already got it, but yeah. So my notes from here out are after I went and got it. First impressions. Ultimately, my first impressions aren't great because it starts with narrate.
Can I tell you?
Oh, you had a thing pre-pilot. Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm about to jump in. So
I don't think I've read Elegy.
Mm-hmm. I've spoken about it enough times. You've probably absorbed some of that.
I might have read it on your Comixology actually. Mm-hmm. The things that I know about Kate Kane.
Okay.
Her dad is in the army.
Mm-hmm. Special services. That's a lot of her childhood is special op travel.
Her mum and her sister are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens in front of her.
Yeah.
Because some other army dude blows up them.
A militia kidnaps one of the special op captains and assassinates his family and assassinates them.
Yeah.
Except for Kane, she gets saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
Uh-huh. Throw all of that in a bucket and fill the bucket with gasoline and set fire to the bucket. Because you won't be needing any of that here today. But the military, I bring it up a million times, but her militaristic, personality, background, attitude towards operations, quote unquote, solving crimes. Batman is a detective and she is a soldier.
Military brat.
Yeah. So,
she's not a soldier, she's just a military brat.
She's got that soldiery attitude, especially with her dad,
she was
running
raised
the
in
shit.
a drill sergeant's house.
Yeah. I got distracted. I'm thumbing through looking for that moment. Because when he's, carrying her away, telling her not to look, there's, a panel of her, sad-ass dead eyes. And it's very similar to the Arkham Origins trailer when you see Bruce's, close-up face and the bullets hit. Yeah, she's not doing so good. That is
definitely watch.
That is a battle-scarred fucking 10-year-old right there.
That is some red hair, though.
That's what I'm saying, man. She a freaking nature, that kid. She's got skin like the Joker for no reason. But, unfortunately, for this show, I was maybe it won't be so bad. I'll pop it on. And it starts off with the classic narration of, this isn't the story I expected to be telling. And I was oh no, that is dangerously close to the, I'm sure you're wondering how I got into this situation opening,
Written by a 12-year-old.
Yeah, man. During this narration, we get Kate Kane training under a frozen lake with handcuffs and no way out and such,
She's Houdini.
Well, yeah, she's doing Batman training. It's intercut with flashbacks. It also put me in a state of severe unease because we see her as a child in the car with her twin sister and mother. Oh no, I just remembered where this is going. It's a nice day driving through some Montana-looking-ass nature. And that's when suddenly a school bus rams them off the road. The car teeters on the edge of a cliff when Batman shows up. Literally just shows up.
As you do.
No dramatic thing. He just is kind of in frame now. He's hello. Yep. He fires a grapple into the boot of the car to stop it from falling, and I shit you not, walks out of frame. I want you to picture Batman casually walking, just out of a shot on a highway in the middle of the day in the woods. It feels weird. Our little Kate, who is played by an 11-year-old, so I will say about 11 years old, gets out of the car before the grapple lets go, taking her sister Beth and her mother, who died in the accident already, over the cliff. Thoughts on this, Kyle?
No.
We've wandered well off the course.
The bus driver should probably be arrested.
He will be. We get more explanation later, but it doesn't necessarily help the whole thing because it's not right.
Why is Batman hitchhiking down the highway?
They explained that too, but it took another episode and a half for me to get answers, and I was I don't know what the fuck this is. Maybe he was waiting for that bus.
I feel he wouldn't just leave a grapple.
You certainly wouldn't leave twin daughters with a dead mother in a car. I know he's busy doing other shit, but doesn't that hit a little close to home? Especially if he recognizes Kate Kane as his fucking cousin. He recognizes people, right?
Also, that means that he's already Batman. Which means that he's
I did some fact checking.
Late 20s or
I went by actress age because they don't explicitly say any ages. She's 11 years old at this event, and she is, I'm going to say 33 in the show's present day. Because that's how old Ruby was, I think, during filming. I did some IMDb just to figure my shit out.
Ages.
Yeah, because I want to know how long she was, potentially training for this. But yeah, big age gap there.
Yeah.
Alright, so as my notes continue, I realise almost all of the military stuff is completely retconned out. It's gone. Boot camp is there and nothing. That's it. It stops. So, you got no special ops, no military family, no terrorist kidnapping tragedies or anything like that. And if that wasn't enough, we also have a Batman.
It's still a traumatic event, but I feel like it's a different kind of trauma.
It doesn't build Kate Kane.
Yeah.
That's a different situation.
Like, Batman's whole thing is because his parents were killed for petty crime.
Yeah, he doesn't like petty crime.
Like, you can't remove...
Batwoman gets super into road safety.
Yeah. Like, that's...
Should be a lollipop lady in a mask.
So long as there's no bus.
Do you remember that one scene in 60s Batman when he, stopped to help an old lady cross the street? That's her whole fucking career.
No.
That's what that ends up being.
It's the one about, we need to wear our seatbelts.
Yeah. So if that wasn't enough, we also have a Batman on a sunny road doing a half-assed job leaving twins with a dead mother. Let's spoil the fact Kate Kane is Bruce Wayne's cousin to add to the element into things. So Batman left his cousins with, a dead aunt, and he also an established Batman when Kate is 11, so for age's sake, yeah, like I said. Meaning Batman was just chilling in the role for at least 22 years. That's a long Batman career.
That said, though, back to my,
wild opening. I'm 5 minutes into this show. I'm oh no.
I'm in my early 30s.
Yeah.
My cousins are 13 and 10.
Yeah, but it also implies you are doing what you're doing now without any changes whatsoever for 2 straight more decades.
I mean, if I'm lucky enough.
You don't look happy about this. Alright, so that gets capped off with another narration saying, I should probably start here. I'm oh god damn, it really is the worst narration.
And I woke up and it was all a dream.
Yep, so before the actual present day starts, man, ticking all the stupid narration trope boxes. But that puts us in Gotham City present, so I put all that behind me and tried to move forward with some positive energy, There's a graffiti, Easter egg on this wall. I'm supposed to be looking at this sign saying, Gotham sucks or whatever. But, it's the Coney Island smiley guy, which soothes me a little bit, because, as you know, that logo was ripped off more or less by, Bill Finger back when he was designing the Joker. Mm-hmm. So I'm oh, cool, that's a very deep cut. You know what I'm saying? Have you seen it?
Someone has
the
done
old Coney
research.
Island creepy smiley face?
No.
It's a bad mascot.
Is that where Joker
and I saved it somewhere, but then I fucked
after
it.
he shoots what's his name?
No, Coney Island's a place, isn't it? In New York or some shit.
Yeah, but is it the theme park where Joker shows Gordon the babies?
Nah, man, that's Amusement Mile. That's the whole thing.
No.
Look, I had a picture, now I fucking can't find it.
Okay.
But yeah, Google it and be oh yeah, that looks like an old-timey Joker, but just on a round skull. Just wrapped around a different shaped head. But yeah, I thought that was cool. And Kate continues to narrate. She lets us know that Batman is gone. He's been gone for 3 years. And everyone keeps saying, oh, he abandoned us. But, I would like to think people in Gotham would just assume he died, right? Mm. Is he really a betrayer after 20... He might have been doing it before the KK event too.
But if there's no bodies...
It's been at least 2 decades and he disappeared. I assume Killer Croc ate him. The Coney Island dude was an inspiration factor for the Joker, by the way. Good, I wrote that down in case I'd forgotten. Anyway, we learn the Batman is gone, and a security force called Crow has stepped in to make people feel safe. And
is it supposed to be owls?
Nah.
Okay.
But thanks to Ann Nocenti, any time that crows are brought up on Gotham, I get a little nervous. Mm-hmm. They ain't welcome there anymore. Also, Catwoman has cat in her fucking name, Ann Nocenti. Try to keep up. Okay, I want to give that a quick rundown for listeners who were not paying attention to Death of the Family event in New 52.
She was written, and apparently she was inspired by crows.
Yeah, Catwoman, that's her spirit animal, the crows. Hence the name.
Crow woman. Caw-caw.
So, with Crow Security doing a good job in the city, they have this ceremony to dismantle the bat signal, finally. And they keep saying, "Oh, Batman abandoned us. What an asshole!" And I still don't think that's what real people would think in that scenario.
I don't know. The world's pretty gross at the moment.
Yeah, like it's not like a real Batman would pack up and leave for no reason. Dark Knight Rises. But when it's supposed to be switched off, it isn't. And we meet our villain, Alice. She's on the camera thingy, the little camera feed, instead talking about how Crow isn't enough and no one is safe. She's still using the Alice in Wonderland quotes, like the book, but honestly, she reminds me way more of Selena Kyle from Batman Returns than her comic book counterpart.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way, like, at all? It might just be the blonde, like, light, crazy hair and the big eye makeup and being overly thematic like a Tim Burton character would be.
Theatrical.
An over-exaggerated weirdo.
Yeah.
So she reveals the Crow guy supposed to turn off the bat signal was killed by her, and in the panic, one of the other Crow guards, gets spotted. They spot one of the gang members skulking around.
Yeah.
In their bunny masks.
They do wear them bunny masks.
They look like the Mad Hatter goons in Arkham City, so I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. If it reminds me of better things, I can think about better things, and that's cool, man. The guard that spots him is Sophie Moore. And she races off after this White Rabbit mask guy, following the White Rabbit. Haha, Alice in Wonderland reference. So the fighting isn't as bad as I expected either.
Oh, they got good choreography?
Yeah, it feels less choreographed than like an Arrow. It might be just darker and grittier to hide it.
Yeah.
But it's Gotham, so that works. I'm fine with it. I went into this with very low expectations, so it does not take much to impress me. And the fight scenes managed to do that. Not everything did, but that did.
Look, the one fight scene I saw, they basically turned the lights off, so...
Bats are creatures of the night. I'll play it. Like, if that makes it easier for the show to work, then I'll fucking... With bells and whistles, I'll take it.
But you kept telling me that the Batsuit looked better in the dark. Or, no, you said
it looks better in motion.
And I was like, oh, cool. And so you're like, here, she'll start fighting in a second, and then all the lights go off, and I'm like, well, it'd be great if I could see it. Like, it looks great in motion.
I'm running the theory that the stunt woman and the stunt woman's costume are just, like, frankly better at the role.
Very, very different to Ruby Rose.
I'm sorry, but...
I'm sorry, but her lower face does not fit the mask.
She's a pointy woman.
Oh.
That's not her fault, but like I don't know if you put a cowl on that.
But it looks like they've taken a bowling ball and just cut most of it out to fit her head inside.
It's a little juggernauty.
It's real, like...
It's very rounded. It's a rounded cowl.
They made that cowl before they picked an actress.
You might be right. So Sophie fights the White Rabbit. It ends up a bait and switch kind of thing, and she gets captured by the gang and kidnapped.
Ha
After she gets chucked into the back of a van and off she goes. After this event, Mary Hamilton, who I mentioned earlier, manages to contact the mysterious Kate Kane via just like a walkie-talkie. And she knows shit explains that she is her stepsister and that Sophie was also kidnapped. I'm like, thanks, exposition lady.
Would have been nice if she explained who Sophie was.
We get that in flashbacks, so don't worry about it. So Kate returns to Gotham City. Look at that. She reacquaints with her father, who in the comics is Colonel Kane, but here he is head of Crow Security.
I like that you have Colonel Kane and Kate Kane and...
Yeah, the fact that his name's Jacob's so disappointing, man. He should be called like Kurt.
Yeah.
Kurt Kane. Great.
Kurt Kane.
It's important to have those super rhymey names, man. We got Peter Parker's, man. We got... Bruce Wayne really fucked it up early on, didn't he? Because it's Clark Kent.
It's really hard.
Diana. Prince. That don't work either. It's really a Marvel thing to do that.
Marking roles. And the kid has, like, the same letters. Because I'm immediately like, a superpower is coming in.
Yeah. So Kate comes to him at work. Oh, the fact that he works at a security, man. It's just Paul Blart. He got downgraded to Paul Blart, Mall Cop. Fuck's sake. So Kate comes to him at work, hoping to get involved in this kidnapping, and Jacob says the quote, like, he has other things to say, but what really struck me is, you take after your cousin, you're a female Bruce Wayne. I'm like, fuck me, man. Some of the dialogue in this is so just explainery. It's like, here's what you need to know, the viewer. Like, they may as well not even be talking to each other. They should be talking directly into the camera, like, reading off Wikipedia entries. Because shit, man.
Is this glass clear?
It's fucking hell. Yeah, it's hard to believe a human wrote or said any of this fucking stuff, man. So, she's too loose of a rebel, I guess, to randomly show up and join a security group. And this leads to a flashback explaining why she cares that this woman was kidnapped.
That's nice.
Now, in Allergy, which I checked, that's how it's pronounced. I was a bit unsure because it's like a short version of elegant. And allergy is like the thing that isn't elegant. Fuck it. Like, it's one of those words that you have to maybe double check before you say it like 20 times on a podcast, you know?
English language, got it.
What a mess. So, in Allergy, the Batwoman comic that digs into her origins, I keep mentioning, we see that in military training, Kate was a cadet and having a love affair with Sophie Moore, her bunkmate. One day, right before graduation, some fucking snitch dobs her in for the whole love affair. And it's against the Uniform Code of Military Justice. I guess that's the don't ask, don't tell stuff. I've never been in an American military system. Not once.
I'm surprised by that, considering that you're not American or
wrong hemisphere,
military.
baby. So the colonel that sort of is like their principal equivalent. I don't know. Again, I don't know. He sees, her about it and is just happy to push it under the rug. She's the only one facing the allegation. Sophie is in the clear. So Kate just has to deny it, and that's fine. It's all good. But she doesn't want to lie or hide her identity. So she takes a stand. She comes out as gay and leaves the military right there and then. That's her coming out story.
This is in the TV show, right?
Let's talk about that. And that leads to her being like a lost soul, searching for a purpose until she sees the light, the proverbial bat signal in the sky. So you understand how she's coming at this, the angle. She's found her way to serve after all this time.
If I can't be part of the military, I'll be in my own military.
Yes. Essentially, yes. And now let's look at the television version.
Okay.
Keeps her at the military school. Look at that. Points for trying.
Well, that's why I was confused.
Let's talk about the rest of it. Her and Sophie Moore have the same setup. They're having a love affair, as you do.
Doing the dude.
They'd be smooching. The difference here is that when they are spotted canoodling, the colonel gets both the girls up during an assembly and humiliates them about it.
Word.
Skipping ahead to other flashbacks in the episode, we see that they were later offered the denial paper and Moore takes it while Kate leaves. Do you see why I feel like that is a hugely different way of... It goes against who the character is.
Yep.
I don't even have to continue to explain. You understand that there's a huge difference there.
There is many problems with that.
In the comics, Kate Kane has agency and stays true to herself no matter what the cost was. While TV Kate Kane is humiliated publicly and essentially just emotionally bullied in front of the entire school.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how old Harley Quinn used to decide to do the shit she was doing, whereas like New Age Harley gets pushed into the vat of chemicals like Joker anyway.
Yeah.
You as the woman...
I am
on the episode, our resident lady.
A lot of happy to hold.
How come women don't have agency in their remakes and
because they're written
updates?
by men.
This wasn't though.
But that's what men assume of a woman. A woman can't make her own decision, and if she does,
I hate how corporate feminism is broken.
It's manic.
It sucks.
No matter whether you choose it or you don't choose it, you're wrong.
It's the worst.
And that's the thing, there's no longer... If you allow a woman to choose, if it's written by a woman, then it must be feminism. No, she's just a human doing what she thinks is right. If a man had done it, no one would think a second thing about it. It's purely the fact that she has female genitalia in her pants. And it's, that means that you can't have characters anymore. And not just Batwoman. I mean, like, females in general. You can't have women anymore that are allowed to choose their path.
That's very annoying. Because
it seems like there's an underlying message or an underlying reason or why would she do something like that? It's like, because she wanted to, because she can, because she chose to, because she was forced to. Like,
yeah.
Women and men aren't different species.
I'm going to have to keep an eye out for it in, like, other stuff, because it's kind of like, I don't know if it's, like, the feminism angle, like, not working and being more like a box to tick, but I wonder if all characters at this point are just, like, emotionless husks being, like, pushed down through, like, a current instead of actually having any sort of personality in film. Because I'm also thinking about how in Man of Steel, they messed with the DNA in General Zod's head to make him want to turn Earth into a new Krypton. Yeah. He didn't just show up with, like, national pride. He was brainwashed as, like, a cell.
Mm.
Does your coffee machine work on a timer?
Yes.
So you've given up your agency. You used to get out of bed and make your coffee. Now you get up when your coffee is ready. It tells you to get out of bed.
Yes and no.
Feminist you are, man. You're a slave to the coffee.
I still have the manual ability to set my coffee.
Okay.
And actually the last couple of mornings, that's how I've been making my coffee. However, I can set my coffee to wake up and make itself.
Okay.
Like an hour before I plan to get out of bed. So that when I get out of bed, my house smells like coffee and it's nice and warm and toasty.
Yeah, we definitely have to start keeping an eye out for that. The whole, like, dopey characters just kind of plodding along to whatever's happening.
But I find that female characters
I think it just catches my eye more because, like, I liked the agency and, like, the human spirit, I guess, of the characters, and then you get newer versions and they don't have it anymore.
But I think female characters have always been more of a husk than a male character.
I feel like the opposite.
And I'm going to bring the whole thing around to Shadow and Boston Blackie and things like that.
Come on, man. The sidekick ladies are adorable. They're great.
I'm not saying that they're not.
They're charming.
But there's not a lot to them.
They can't even, like, get married, man. They can't even get laid. They're not even people. But that's
the thing.
It's sad.
I think it was done originally so that you could put any person into that role.
It was there for so your character isn't just talking to themselves. That's why Robin hangs out with Batman.
But, like,
it's to avoid a thought bubble.
Okay, so talk about, like, Marilyn Monroe. She's only known for being a blonde bombshell. She's not known for anything else. So long as you have a blonde woman, who cares?
Yeah.
Which is why I think I Love Lucy is so popular. Because she was a very particular character who had very particular motives and standouts and things like that. Which was not something that people were used to.
See, I wasn't thinking that far back. I was thinking, like, 2000 and stuff. Like when the Allergy book came out, or when the Harley Quinn book came out. I used to like those characters because they had more of, like, because they're ladies, they're more emotional. But that also means there's more depth and stuff going on in the books. Like, it's not just, I am He-Man and I'm here just to punch the muscly skeleton guy.
Yeah, but I think
there's a lot more, like, thought.
I think people worry too much about females and their emotions.
I think now, because it's a conscious effort, it's not as smooth as it used to be. It used to just be, like, a genuine thing, and that's why it stood out against stuff that was coming out at the time.
I think there's a lot of reasons and a lot of decisions, and you're right, it has removed that agency. Yeah.
Well, at any rate, this Batwoman is essentially bullied out of the school for doing, for honking boobs, and frankly, that's like
you've seen a pair of boobs.
That's like the best thing you can do.
I'm supportive.
Alright, so back to the show. I like that I wrote that in because I knew damn well where that would end up going. So, back to the show twice, because I had to go back to see the reasoning here. I had to rewatch a lot. And I gave up on doing that later on in the episodes. I was like, I'll just guess.
Which I find is strange because you're usually the first one to be like, did you spot that, like, background nothing?
Yeah, the fact that I'm struggling so hard to follow, like, the basic reasoning of the characters is not a good sign.
Yeah.
So, Kate Kane goes from Crow HQ to Wayne Enterprises, or Wayne Tower, take your pick.
You don't have to be there, it's been empty for 3 years.
But it fucking hasn't. Oh man, we'll talk about it. So, see, they've got eyes all over the city, kinda. So she goes and climbs up the side of the building to get into Bruce Wayne's old office. Mm-hmm. And she says, like, that's the only place that made sense That's where anything makes sense. Some shit. I don't know.
Which is strange considering that, he let her mother and sister die.
Alright, so.
Also, why is everyone really mad at Batman, but they're not sad about the fact Bruce Wayne died?
And how are they not making the connection between the two? They both disappeared on the same fucking afternoon. Yeah. It's great. So while poking around the office, she is caught by Luke Fox in the abandoned office, in the abandoned building that they keep saying has not been working. But that apparently it has employees. So,
maybe it's just that level on the elevator. Bruce turned it off.
Well, like, one of his plants is, like, broken and dead in the office and stuff. I assume no one's using the office. But, like, there's a line later that says Wayne Enterprises defunct. I'm like, but they're doing things and they're paying people and they have, like, a security team and several other reasons. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Kate's allowed to fire someone later on.
Isn't that exciting? So, she claims to be missing Bruce Wayne's cousin, and he questions her about him, trying to prove it. Like, his birthday. She gets that one right. I double-checked.
His parents died at age 10.
No.
In a back alley.
No, Luke asks for his middle name. She claims, trick question, he doesn't have one. And I just assumed that was wrong, so I checked.
Oh, nice.
It was Thomas... And it turned out that was made canon 2 years before the show started. So suck it, CW. I kind of assumed it would be Thomas anyway. Just based on nothing. Why wouldn't it be? I come from an Italian family. We all have, like, our parents' fucking middle names as, like, first names as our middle names. White Collar's middle name's technically G Daddy as far as podcast canon goes, yes.
Buddy, we're going to have to talk about that moving forward.
I know, that's fine.
Excuse me, sir. That is my couch.
Fucking cats. They're just walking around trying to be crows.
What do you want?
I made a good joke. I don't want to get rid of it. Okay, so, his middle name's Thomas. They were fucking wrong. They could have Googled it. Kate then escapes her handcuffs and puts them on Luke. She jumps onto their security systems, which work in this defunct company, and gets footage of the van leaving with Sophie, kidnapped, as we remember.
Hang on a second.
I want you to think about this.
No,
go on.
Hang on.
I have 2 points that make this scene confusing. I want to see if you can hit both of them.
So the bat signal is on top of Wayne Enterprises.
No, it's a different building, but Wayne Tech is a lot of security cameras.
Throughout
brand?
the city.
Brand?
Yeah. Okay.
She's essentially going through Google Nest footage in the city.
Okay.
That's not one of my, like, what the fuck does that mean? Because, I mean, Batman pinches shit from Wayne Tech constantly, so I'm used to it at this point.
Yeah,
you know how he has the decoder in Arkham Asylum just because they use the same frequency that he has at home?
Yeah, why not? Okay, lay it on me.
Okay, so A, Wayne Enterprises written in the episode as abandoned while it's running and having employees.
And would have been abandoned for 3 years minimum.
And B, Crow Security, the replacement for Batman itself, didn't check security cameras above the scene of their kidnapping or the murder that took place within the 5-minute window. They didn't look at security footage. The security company.
They're not a security camera company. They're a security company.
Oh my god. So Kate goes home to a welcome back party. Isn't that nice that Mary organised for her? We see her buddy and stepsister Mary, and Jacob. So Kate shows him the security footage. It's wild because he's like, how did you get this? And she says, Wayne Tech. And he says, they're defunct. Fucking what are you talking about?
I was there today.
Yeah, fucking despite them having literal security feeds and employees like Luke and whoever he was talking to on his radio. So the lights are on, someone's home, abandoned as hell. Mm-hmm. In the footage, we see a cricket bat with a quote on it. Kate knows it from an old and abandoned orphanage that they used to like do Ouija boards in and stuff when they were kids.
Sure, of course.
It's the, your resident spooky location of choice. Mm. So she races off to save Sophie. And when we get there, I get another moment of like comic anxiety because the orphanage is in Burnside.
Oh no.
So for those playing at home, the New 52 Batgirl was a great Gail Simone story about survivor's guilt and facing that inner turmoil while facing actual pressures of the real fucking world. Mm-hmm. And like villains. There's also villains in it.
So comic.
Yeah. But, it had, like, a lot of very heavy, like, repercussions. She recovered from her, her thing with the Joker, whereas, like, Gordon's wife, other example. A lot of people get fucked over by the Joker. Jason Todd is the other one. So she has a little bit of, like, there's, like, an ongoing thread. It's cool.
She got some survivor.
Yes, yeah, it's well written, and it was a good story. Then the title was given to Cameron Stewart, Brendan Fletcher, and Bab Starr to appeal to young readers. And literally the first mystery Barbara had to solve was who was the dude she hooked up with's name. This was in her new home in Burnside.
Can we go back to the agency argument?
She had agency to fuck that stranger. She had agency like classic Paris Hilton or something.
You can't see the face I'm pulling, but it's a good one.
It looks like she ate something really sour, but only on one side of her face. So. But yeah, that was a tough one to deal with because I was a big fan of the title up to that point. Inside though, I was alright. Kate Kane is beating up goons, and it still looks good. I like that the Wonderland gang looks like they do. But there's too many of them. Kate gets overrun and knocked out.
No.
When she wakes up, she's tied up in front of Alice. And she's just not quite enough. She has little things, she has the book quotes and this old lavish like chair and set with these little white rabbit knickknacks and shit. Yeah. But it lacks the just the fucking insanity of the character.
Yeah.
She's a wild bunch, man. I miss the pageantry, I think. I think that's what it's missing. It's not as all the way. Like the quotes are said in this show in like a threatening way. And I always kind of pictured her sounding exactly like Catherine Beaumont's Alice, like in spite of the extreme violence and evil cult surrounding her. It was my argument for old school Harley.
Child stuck in young childness.
Yeah, like that's how I feel about old Harley. Like the goofy gesture, costume, and big hammer are wild and can be unsettling because they're so out of place.
Yeah.
It's like the exact opposite of the riverboat in Willy Wonka. If they made that scene like less fucking insane to fit the thematic the themes of the film, like the style themes, not like the moral or whatever.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have the impact anymore.
No.
If they softened all that shit. It's like the opposite. She's being sort of badass to fit the universe where it should be like way out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while I'm clumsily trying to explain why a normalized Alice doesn't work,
it's somewhat like the fact that Riddler is the best villain in 66 Batman.
He's fucking nuts, man. He will eat.
Everyone else plays it like they are dressing in a costume and committing
They're
crime.
all fun villains, but that Edward Nygma...
He is on drugs.
He would bite a cock off a man at a bus station and not even think twice about it. That guy's fucking dangerous. He's the Zodiac killer.
But it makes his performance so much more memorable.
Oh yeah, we fucking love when he's there.
Else.
And when Gomez Adams shows up, we get mad.
Yeah.
Because he ain't it.
No.
Oh, mustache on a Riddler. What the fuck? It was okay on Cesar Romero's Joker, but you can't go close, bro. That's as far as we get. We're not having more mustache. Yeah, so anyway, while I'm thinking about Willy Wonka, Alice is talking about how proving that Crow sucks and can't protect Gotham is like her main thing. Isn't that something? And kidnapping one of them is a good move in that direction. Explaining why she has Sophie in the first place. Kate says, then let Sophie go. Taking the daughter is probably even bigger. And I did like this part about Alice. She's like, nah. And in this really harsh point, Alice explains that Sophie is the prized pupil, while Kate is the cast-aside black sheep sent away to train for a job she was never going to get. Sophie is the daughter Jacob will never have. And I was like, fuck, dude. That's pretty good. And then
Kate tried to make her a daughter he would have, but...
Yeah, she then gets a cricket bat to the face and is out like a light again.
Nice.
And when Kate wakes up, we see what Mary has been up to, presumably for years. She seems less Flamebird, more Leslie Tompkins. Okay, in her secret clinic, helping folks,
that can't afford American healthcare,
which is fucking Americans. And she's helping stitch up Kate, who was dropped there by Alice, keeping her alive. It would seem, isn't that interesting? Oh, look at that. Maybe she wants Kate alive as a tool in her vendetta against Jacob. And speaking of Jacob, Kate heads to him next after being stitched up. Still, he won't put her into the fray with the Crow, so she storms off back to Bruce Wayne's office for no real particular reason. That's just where she went. She didn't go home or nothing.
Do you think she knows?
No, because they make a point of having her work that out soon.
Okay.
Why do you say that? Do you think that would make more sense? If that's why she was going to Wayne all the time?
So, okay, I think if I watched episode, 3...
Yeah.
Let's just have it known that I wasn't doing well the week that we watched this.
Yeah.
Her whole thing is, she never gave up on finding her sister, and...
They lean into that shit so hard. I don't even think they... I don't think...
it's real intense.
I don't think Kate or Jacob were, willing to bring it up in the comic book version of what I assume their childhood is like.
She never shuts up about it.
They never talk about the mother, though. You've noticed it now, too.
But
they don't give a shit.
They can't get through half a sentence without bringing up the fact that Kate is still looking for her sister.
Oh, where's Beth? I can't find Beth. She's gone. She went in the river. My mom's dead, but I forgot about her. I don't even know her name.
But I feel...
Even stepsister Mary's can I have any of your time or thought? Kate's nah, man. Beth might be out there.
No, but you were saying before that, something about the fact that she feels, safe or something in Bruce's office.
Yeah.
If you're that attached to your sibling and you find out that he could have saved them.
But no, she doesn't know that yet.
Why would you hang out with him?
Well, she doesn't know. Yeah, but this is the scene where that does happen, though. She shows up there for no real particular reason. There she discovers what is pretty much the Batcave from the Telltale Games Batman. Being, the secret elevator from the office, which in-game was down to a secret L&D for Batman gadgets, but here it's a literal cave under Wayne Tower. Can you believe it, Kai? Bruce Wayne was Batman.
I knew that.
That's crazy, man. After what I assume was an ad break, we get some more information about the weird Batman flashback from the start. So Batman didn't stick around because that bus was driven by the Joker and still had school kids in it. I'm well, fair enough then. The grapple he used should have held, but the car's boot didn't, apparently. Even though in the flashbacks you see the grapple let go on the boot is still on the car when it goes over, so fuck me, I guess.
Yeah, that's
I'm sorry I looked at the thing you were explaining and had questions, yeah. So, yeah, the car goes over despite clunky writing and weird retcons in the thing you are currently watching. It is shown that it ate Batman up inside and he could never find Bat's body either. Kate realizes that he cared about saving lives, not just getting the bad guy, because there's a whole perfect exposition wall of news clippings about the accident and maps and shit.
I was gonna say, is there just a letter in his desk that's
it fucking may as well be. It's just a light collage of I wonder where that kid is, but damn. I don't care about the mother either.
Okay.
So yeah,
because you wouldn't have known that the mother was dead.
She's fucking dead. They say it. She died already. She's dead on the impact.
No, they don't show that though.
No, because at that point, she was just there to drive the car for the children. She does not exist.
But that's the thing, because they don't... Beth talks about how
her head came off,
her
I think.
head comes off. But that would have happened in the water.
Yeah, she was already half out the windshield dead. That's why it split off when...
Was she not wearing a seatbelt?
No, it's American. Did they wear seatbelts over there?
Yes.
Did they 22 years ago?
I wasn't there 22 years ago, but I'm going to say yes.
Okay, cool. Okay. So, I'm not sure how the logic works, but Kate understands in the presence of the Batsuit what it means, and she understands that the Bat can strike more fear into villains than a security firm could. So she tells Luke to fix the suit up. It's not perfect until it fits a woman, which is very sexist, though. So the scene ends with a call from good old Mary, who is the quiet achiever of the pilot. So far, she has got Kate to come home, planned a party, runs a secret hospital, and is saving lives. And now has one of the Wonderland gang members in the clinic who has told her their plan. Look at her go, solving shit.
She's doing pretty good.
She fucking rules. So their plan is this. There is an event that they've been bringing up, but I don't care to reference, called Movie in the Park. Creative name. We got one of the Crow's men who's a traitor. Because we know that because we see him hooking up with Alice, and it's grossly like tongue making out and shit.
Nice.
The area he is guarding is a big building under construction across the street. Up there, Alice has Sophie bound and gagged. Meanwhile, the evil Crow guard will park up a van full of explosives at the event. They will call Jacob and get him to choose between blowing up this little park event thing or whatever, or they will make Sophie literally walk a plank. Okay. So that's the plan, and that's what is happening, because also that's where we're up to in the episode. I was surprised when the rat guard made out with Alice. I thought that was kind of... So the movie being shown is Zorro, which I thought was a cute nod to, depending on your canon, the thing the Waynes went to see that night.
Oh, yes.
Unless they went and saw like a gay opera about bats or something. What was the Christopher Nolan one? Deflator Mouse? Who's taking a 10-year-old to opera? Who gives a shit? He wants to watch Yo Gabba Gabba and sit... He wants to get Doritos on his fingers.
Hence the reason you have to show him, the opera so that he turns out differently.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so after Alice makes the call to Jacob, a goon is grappled and yanked away from the group. And when a goon gets grappled, I get excited. Because that, as they say in the Arkham City, it's the freaking bat! That sort of shit. I'm like, oh, here we go. But then he gets pulled through a wall that I guess is made out of, like, shortbread or something. I admit I audibly laughed at the practical effect in that stunt.
Are you telling me that they made Burt Ward go through heavier walls than this goon?
Yes, 100%. That guy went through, like... I'm not even going to say paper, because it just, like, bonked out. You know what I mean? Like, it just sort of cracked, like plaster, but with nothing behind it. It was the weakest thing I've ever seen.
Shortbread cookie.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I did laugh a little bit. It kind of, like, the grapple happens, I'm like, yes! And then I'm immediately like, oh, god damn it. It's a fucking show, man. Another goon gets lifted away, and the bat reveals herself. The cow, like you said earlier, is very beefy, but I have no solution. I can't tell them how to do a better job of it. Like, I don't know how they make it so tight around the ears on other bat suits, frankly. I mean, like, on the sides of the head, not the ears on the cow itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to make a slim, big, thick rubber head. I don't know what to tell you.
They didn't have to make it out of rubber because, like, it's a TV show, but okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't have an explanation for it. And it's completely black, so I can't really describe anything else about it. You know how I feel about black bat suits. But, it's like that, so we can put some razzle-dazzle on it later and make it look like Batwoman. It wouldn't work if she was in, like, a dope grey briefs on the outside costume. So, while fighting Alice, she gets the van bomb detonator out of there, and when Sophie is dropped, she dives out and grabs her. Now, Kaya.
Yes.
I need your help here.
I'm here.
Okay. When a bat is, falling with a hostage, what would be their next move, in your eyes?
Grapple.
Okay. What if it was more, like, what if you were going to, like, use the cape more? Because she's already used the grapple a bunch. It's time for something cool, something different.
You'd have to... It depends on where you've got your hostage just sitting. Because if they're on the back, you're not using your cape.
Who grabs someone on their back?
Piggyback.
Grab the person.
I like a piggyback, right?
Alright. So, neither of us could have foreseen what she chose to do.
That's why I'm like, where is she currently got Sophie?
Alright, so, well, she grabs her.
Right.
Because that's what you do with a falling person. But doesn't, like, do any, like... She doesn't do anything with her wings or grapple like you suggested. She sort of spins around in midair, and opens the cape up, as if to glide, but the cape's underneath, while protecting them. She uses it like a fucking airbag. I don't know how else to explain it, but it doesn't like poof up or anything. She grabs Sophie, turns her around, the cape springs open, and they crash through like a little construction site office onto a bed.
And die.
No, because there's a mattress on the floor of this office. It's not a bad stunt, like there's pillows on it. It's a bed on the floor.
But...
I don't understand. I don't understand the cape move.
But roof?
Yeah.
But
Batwoman keeps touching Sophie on the lips, and it's a little bit weird, but it is quick good. Because she grapples back up to the scene. Alice is gone, but her butterfly knife is still lodged into the wall. That's a clue.
Clue.
Batwoman takes it and looms over the city and is spotted by a kid who is obviously bored as shit by the black and white silent Zorro film her parents took her to. And Batwoman glides away using the cape properly. It was a bit lacking as far as CGI goes. It looked a little bit bad, but I always like when a bat uses their cape. I think that was my least favourite thing about the Batman movie. He's got a cape specifically made to glide around the city, but he
Minimal cape-ish.
Didn't it wrap around him into a wingsuit in that movie?
Maybe.
Yeah, remember? Because then he hit a truck or something, he fucked it up on the landing. But yeah, he was wearing a wingsuit. I'm like, but he has the cape. Why doesn't anyone trust the cape in the movie?
Because they've all watched The Incredibles.
I'm fighting for cape rights, all right?
Okay, well, you take that up with Edna Mode.
That bitch. Her capes aren't good. Keep getting people killed. Alright, so as the pilot episode starts to wrap up, we get news of the Batman Returns sweeping the city. You know, the narration is Vesper Fairchild, which is exciting to me. She was horny on Maine in this, goddamn. But I love the Bruce Wayne murderer era of detective, so it was cool that they used that character. I would have also accepted Jack Ryder, Simon Gleason, or Vicky Vale if they wanted. But I like the one they went with.
Yeah, that's fine.
She would go on to date Bruce Wayne and be murdered for it. She would die and Bruce would be framed for it. Great run. Very fucking long. I think there's 2 volumes and they're like this.
Ooh.
Soft cover. That isn't padded, baby.
That's an inch.
Yeah,
so 2 inches.
I could beat maybe a 6-year-old child to death with one of those. Like, that's the heft of the book. So yeah, they're good, but they take a bit of committing. We see Jacob is focusing on the Alice gang and ignoring the comments I just made, and talking about how the appearance of another bat wannabe doesn't matter. Because apparently there's been a few before. He played Gotham City Imposters. He knows what the go is. He knows where the keys are. You remember that game?
No.
I played the beta. I don't even think I made it to the full version.
Nice.
It's like a Team Fortressy game where half of Gotham City's stupider people are inspired by Batman and the other half are inspired by Joker. And then it's just like a gang war and you just shoot the other guy. It's fucking ridiculous. It's very charming. Stupid as shit. But he also admits that he's been overprotective of Kate and is finally open to giving her a role at Crow. Okay? But she doesn't take it. No. She has found a new place. Which
would make more sense if they did the original thing with the cadet school.
Yeah. She has the quote, "Some see fear, others hope. I see the freedom to be myself, to play by my own rules." So she got close to fucking stealing my quote there. I didn't like it. And she made it about other things.
Rude.
So she begins writing journals in case Bruce does return to find all of his shit is girl-shaped and red. And that's good. A Batman should journal a fucking stupid amount. Depending on which version you read. Like, yeah, a lot of my Batmans go home and then, like, Dear Diary that shit. So you can go back and check for clues. And he's got good recollection. He doesn't have contacts that just film the whole thing. Not until Oracle shows up and does it for him.
Is it wrong that I just had this idea? If he's off trying to find, like, a secretive leather
He's
maker.
doing Batman Incorporated somewhere else.
He's off trying to find a secretive leather maker to get the nipples taken out of the bat suit.
Oh, that's where he went.
And then he comes back and he's like, there's fucking tits on it.
God damn it, I left with nipples, I'm back with cleavage. What the fuck?
That's where my brain went.
There's a camel toe on my suit, Alfred. Who put that there? It was I, the Riddler. Alright, so I do hate...
be able to fit a dick in that.
Yeah. So, this Batwoman, nerfed and devoid of the military side of the character, but it's also the pilot, so I'm hoping it gets better, and I've also been talking for an hour just about the first episode. So, I overanalyzed this, is what I'm saying here. The final twist I almost forgot to mention, because source material reasons, was that, remember how Batman could never recover Beth's body? Mm-hmm. Kate Kane looks over the butterfly knife and sees a ruby in its hilt. She calls it a garnet later. It's a garnet.
That's the birth stuff.
Yeah, you saw that bit. Beth used to wear that exact rock on a necklace.
They both have one.
Mm-hmm. Beth is Alice. A clue. And I will just... I'll do episode 2's notes in this part 1 as well, because it's in the same paragraph. Because the second episode is just spent its entire 42, 45 minute runtime affirming that. So, thankfully...
However, no one believes her.
The fact that she's just walking around with clues that Batwoman had is fucking suspicious. She's like, check out this little evidence bag I got. It's got a knife in it. Batwoman was on the scene. I was presumably at home, but it's mine. Isn't that interesting? I don't have an alibi.
It's supposed to be just a Ziploc bag, buddy.
It's got a fucking evidence in it. It's got a whole evidence.
One whole evidence.
Yeah. It spends its episode just talking about that. So thankfully I don't have shit to say about it. I will say that Jacob refused to run a DNA test on the butterfly knife because Alice can't possibly be Beth. But I think maybe learning her secret identity and home address through DNA records is probably a good idea, regardless of who she is or not. You fucking idiot. I refuse. No, look, listen, man. I'm head of the security that is so good it replaced Batman, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, a second Batgirl, Stephanie Brown's Batgirl, Two-Face when the coin's good, and Signal. But you know what? I will never, ever look at a security camera. I never, ever will check DNA on a clue, which my daughter gave me that Batwoman had. I'm not going to look into that either. I also have too much hair.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yep.
Like, I feel you. But at the same time...
Colonel Kane worked out who Batwoman was in, like, the first fucking night in the books. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
She did steal a bunch of his stuff, though. It makes it a bit obvious.
If... Like, let's presume, I searched for my daughter for, 5 years.
Uh-huh.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here.
We'll get more into that in part 2, trust me. They talk about that a bunch.
And then someone comes in and they're like, actually, she was never dead. You just didn't look hard enough. I would probably sit there and be like, nah, man. Because that's a whole lot of trauma.
I know.
Like, I can understand him, being like,
I get him trying to avoid it because...
It's like when you go looking for something, and then I immediately come home and I'm like, oh, it's underneath that book there. And you're like, I'm not going to lift up that book, because if it is there, fuck you. It's
Schrodinger's cat, but, that's just straight up negligence. Do you imagine how mad America would have been if the police were like, oh, we had a bunch of DNA on file for Zodiac Killer, but we didn't think to check it?
I mean, they do that all the time.
For fuck's sake. It's ridiculous.
It is a problem that we have.
So did you have any parts of the show you liked?
We're not up to the parts that I watched.
Look, the cow doesn't look as bad when it has a wig covering most of it.
I'll take your word.
And there's that one scene when she cuts power, beats the shit out of the Wonderland gang, and just bonks Alice on the head with a stick, knocks her unconscious, and it's super dark, so you can't see any flubs or mistakes or bullshit. But she's also wearing night vision lenses that look like fucking that. Ladies and future boys, I'm gesturing at literally any comic book based product because you never see the pupils in a bat cowl.
No.
Except for that, I think Injustice did it for some fucking reason. But yeah, it was super cool to see the white eyes on a bat suit.
Yeah.
It's weird how rare that is. We've had 9 films now.
I feel you. I can pick up what you're putting down.
Yeah. For every episode, there's 2 good minutes in it, so that's pretty fun. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap part 1? Part 2, we'll just bang out the rest of this season, man. I got this. Okay. I'm trying to cut it down to 3 paragraphs limit on each episode. Okay. And I can, because there's a lot of exposition, not a lot about the dead mom. Not a damn drop of it. It's remarkable.
No dead parents, except for all the dead parents.
Yeah. Alright. So, thank you for listening. I hope you aren't mad about our opinions. I hope you didn't come in here being a big Batwoman stan.
The TV show, not the comic.
Yeah. Make sure to title this CW Batwoman so there's a distinction. I don't want people walking in by accident. Especially
if they get all the way through the recording to here and they're like, oh.
Wait a sec. He didn't talk about the damn first appearance of Dan once. Not a bit. He didn't talk about how she was originally introduced to prove Batman wasn't gay.
Oh, she was Aunt Harriet.
No, she's way better than Aunt Harriet. Because they're like, we gotta prove he's not gay. Let's add a chick. So she rocks up and she's like, look at me, I'm cosplaying you. We should get married. And he's like, I'm married to Justice. So they plan to make him
my cousin.
No, she's a different character back then. Kay Kane's new. Batwoman's not. So their plan to make him seem less gay was to reject women, super open to just blowing him at just a single. It took a thread of consent, and she'd be all over him like sprinkles on a cupcake, and he's like, nah. That's how they proved that was their move.
That said, though, if you rocked up dressed in exactly the same thing I was wearing and was like, bow chicka wow wow, I would also say no.
Have you seen every, character I create on video games that are always, like, a goth woman, but always dressed exactly like me? I don't think it's a drama. We wear the same shoes pretty regularly, at least.
Look, I've...
We're bad examples.
Not saying that I've gone to work one day wearing one of my shoes, one of your shoes, and I didn't work it out.
We have different sizes, come on.
That was how the children worked it out.
Oh, god damn it.
Alright, I'm leaving.
Alright, yes, thank you for listening. Make sure to subscribe to hear part 2 and see if the show improves. Because it's better to hear it from us than to watch it yourself.
That should be spoilers enough.
Yeah. As long as I get some good villains of the week, that's usually how I get through my CW shows. I've been joined by producer Kyle.
Hi.
I've been your host, Toby DePaula.
Hi. Rate, review, subscribe.
Yep, do good. Have a good time. Class dismissed.